Hey reader, welcome back to the Zurn Kickstarter. Really excited to see you guys today. I dropped off my brother at the airport yesterday, and they unfortunately forgot their lunch. So we find ourselves at my brother's house on the same table that we actually do a good number of our testing on over here, which is exciting. And he apparently made me a sandwich, which is kind of awesome. I'm a big fan. If you've never had my brother's sandwiches before, hopefully he'll sell them someday because they are pretty much fantastic. And so you find me at lunch today, helping to make a video talking about Zurn's magic system. Now on my way here, I was thinking about lunch, of course. I was also thinking about the magic system, and it struck me how much the magic system in Zurn is an awful lot like a sandwich. But hold on for a moment because I'm about to do something very important. It's called eating. Eating is a big deal. Eating is pretty much fantastic and great, just like magic, as it happens. See, in the Zurn system, magic is an awful lot like a sandwich. You can do all kinds of things with it, right? You know, the kind of bread you use is going to be a big deal. The kind of stuff that goes inside of it is going to be a big deal. And all of it's going to be different, right? My brother made an egg salad sandwich. I love egg salad. My dad grew up making egg salad for us. And my brother Josh is the one in the family who really picked up cooking and like did really, really good with it. My other brothers and sisters are great. I am terrible at cooking, as it happens. But my brother Josh, he's like the Iron Chef. He is awesome. Okay? And he makes egg salad the same way that my dad does. Okay? And similarly, you'll find some people who kind of continue the trait, if you will, from what it is that they knew growing up, right? Whether they were part of the guild or something like that. When it comes to magic, they'll sometimes continue the same trait. Other types of people, in fact, actually, now I think about it, what kind of things do we have in here? We got like a ham sandwich. I think this one's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We got all kinds of cool things in here. And similar to that, Zurn also has a pretty good variety in regards to magic systems, right? You know, we have 5 lores that are kind of available to everyone. And that's important because we want to have every race have an option at different types of magic lores, all of which do different things. Some of them also pair better than others, right? So similar like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you know, you pair different lores together, and then they can kind of work in tandem together. And some of them do better at pairing than others, right? I wouldn't consider putting peanut butter in my egg salad sandwich. This doesn't go very well. Similarly, you know, light lore and dark lore don't go very well together. But you could, like, you know, there's nothing in the rules that say you can't, just it's harder, that's all. And so similarly, you know, Zurn is an awful lot like a sandwich as regards to the magic system. And it's also kind of cool because the more you think about it, the versatility of magic in Zurn is a very unique thing. So one of the distinguishing factors between most game systems, especially in the MMO world as opposed to the traditional roleplay world, is how many people can use magic and to what extent. So for example, if I'm playing an MMO and I'm choosing let's say Arcade, right, which is a MMO that started in Korea, moved over to Russia, and then came over to the United States about a year ago. If I'm playing Arcade, I can build a character who is a magic user, and there's like 2 or 3 different styles of magic, if you will, that they end up using in that one. And I can pair that with being an archer or a warrior or something like that. But I definitely get a lot stronger if I do all 3 of my classes as the magic classes, right? Similarly in Zurn, you can do that. Okay. And then you got some game systems, like D&D, for example, where in Dungeons & Dragons, you're a magic caster if you build a particular type of character, right? If I build a sorcerer, if I build a druid, then I can use magic, okay? And if I build, say, like a warrior or an archer or something like that, I probably won't be using any magic spells. In fact, in some game systems, like Iron Kingdoms, for example, if I don't build a magic caster, a war caster, if you will, I just can't. I don't even have an arcane stat. You know, I don't even get a stat there. So I couldn't practice it even if I wanted to because it's kind of important for how the game is designed. In Zurn, we don't really have rules like that. And I would say, you know what? Shoot, if you want to build a magic caster, build a magic caster. And if your magic caster wants to use a sword too, which, you know, in D&D you can't do, and things like that, hey, I'm not about to be the person who tells the wizard he can't use a sword. Okay, I'm just not going to do that. But there are definite advantages to building a dedicated mage, right? A person who's like, well, I do magic plus nothing, right? Because then, you know, I cast better, get off bigger versions of the spells, right? In this sense, Zurn is probably more like an MMO, in that in an MMO, you know, if I'm casting magic or things like that, usually the more I tier up myself, or the more I tier up my abilities, the more damage I do, right? Whereas you kind of get this in a number of traditional tabletop games, but as a general rule, when I buy the spell, it'll do certain things for me at a certain level. And then as I rest or things like that, I get my mana back up so that I can cast it again, right? It requires me to like rest for a certain number of days, or reduces a certain amount from my mana pool, so on and so forth. In Zurn, we don't use mana pool. We don't use a rest system. As far as we're concerned, no, you can cast as many times as you like, but the amount by which you can boost the spell, that is, say, how powerful it is based on how much you're putting into the cast, i.e. the people who streamline and say, I'm going to do just this, tend to be better casters, which means they can get off better and bigger, better spells than the guys who don't. It also means that since we have a pretty robust dispel system, if I'm just, if I'm a warrior who fights with 2 swords, or a sword and a shield, or something like that, and I decide, I'm going to buy this one magic spell, I may have the ability to make the roll to get it off, but it'll also be pretty easy for somebody else to shut it down. Magic is also cast off with the lore stat, so it's going to be different from the stat that you would have for your traditional melee warrior or archer, which means people who are doing that are going to, just expect and know the fact that you're going to be a little harder pressed in order to get higher rolls, just by virtue of the fact that you're using your off stat in order to be able to do things that you want to do. Or you just build a well-rounded character. There's always that option. And that's a very, very good option. Okay? At present in Zurn, we've got 60 spells between 5 lores that are openly accessible to every race potential build. We've also got a number of hidden lores and advanced lores, so that way there's a reason to go deep into something, reason for you to kind of find something over the course of a campaign, something to work toward, right? Very important for this idea of called character development, which is big in game design, and something that I think, as a general rule, certain games could definitely do a little more of, right? And usually they'll like require things to be level classed or gate classed, right? Or depending on where you are in the campaign, you finally get access to certain things. It's like, you can kind of do that through the form of a hidden lore and an advanced lore. Through the Zurn system. But you can also start with the kinds of things that you really like. That way you know whether it's the kind of character that you want to build. Will we run out of ideas at some point? Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to discover more and more. The more that you pay attention to literature, the more that you read, the more that you watch, the more you begin to see new ideas creep up. And so I suspect at some point we're going to reduce the amount of lores that we have. It will kind of reach the point where we're like, yeah, this is probably all the magic that we've got. But honestly, like we're saving some of the lores for later eras. We're still designing a number of lores that will be coming out in campaign books and things like that. And I don't know. We'll see how that all ends up working out. I think we've got a good amount of stuff still on the table left to go. I think that the realm of magic has been plumbed a little bit, but not exhaustively. And so we'll continue bringing you guys more of that. If you're interested in this kind of a system, and if you like this kind of approach to magic, and if you want to test out the game, I'm going to highly encourage you, back us over here at Zurn. Follow us on Pinterest, follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. We want to bring you more of that, and we'll be sharing more of that as we go forward. In the meantime, I'm going to finish this, and we'll be seeing you guys next time.